should also have some exposure to shorter and faster related training efforts than whatever your specific goal is. So if your goal is a mile, you should have some exposure to, training at a 5K pace, 10K pace, etc. So that's longer and slower pace. And then you should have some exposure to efforts that would be akin to your 800 meter or 400 meter pace. That's the way I tend to program, where the majority of that stuff of the programming volume is longer and slower, about 80%, and then 20% of it is faster and shorter. But again, all of this has happened over time. So I'm not doing really sprint interval training until 2.5, 3 months after somebody's kind of built up some tolerance here. And I'm not doing any sort of like even aerobic intervals until 6 weeks, 8 weeks into somebody's sort of cardio career, if you will, and they're kind of have already progressed to the physical activity guideline minimums, are doing well with that, and then we can sort of bump up the intensity a little bit. So if I had to summarize this all, let's start low and slow, 20 to 30 minutes per session, 3 times per week, gradually progress from there, maybe a 10% jump in volume week over week until you hit the physical activity guideline minimums. From there, you can add some intensity variety in there so people get exposed to some higher intensity work, not yet sprint stuff. And then as people go on week over week, again, increasing the duration to potentially up to twice the guidelines, be a reasonable goal for health focused folks or people who are focused on conditioning related performance. And then again, at that point, you can start thinking about some sprint intensity training. That's my quick and dirty, maybe not so quick, sort of load management how to.
Yeah, I think some distillations from that. You have to get in shape before you can do the really hard stuff. And that can take a bit of time and often longer than people want. And so you had mentioned starting out with a frequency of once a week. And I think that's fine if you are already able to run. There are people who are not yet able to do that. And so they might be, doing a fast walk or something like that. And that fast walk, depending on how in shape or not they are, that may already put them into zone 1, zone 2 kind of range. In which case, I would probably having them doing those kind of fast walks more often because it's easier to tolerate to build up some of that fitness.